And then we enter into the part of the text which emphasize about confession. Confession is when we realize the mistakes that we have committed. The text, or several texts actually, use the term sin, but I don't like it so much. I think it is loaded with another meaning than what we place into the word confession in Buddhism. It is closer to the process of regret than guilt. So the point is not to feel guilty about what negative things we have done in the past, but to recognize what has been done honestly, to recognize that it is not correct for the least of the things we might have done and we don't even remember. And we regret. We regret, and we generate the strong wish to do not repeat these kind of actions in the future. One step above regret is remorse. Remorse has a deeper sense than regret. So the remorse is not only to observe what we have done negative and recognize it, but also to understand the consequences. Because whatever we have accumulated as negative karma in the past cannot be forgotten, will not be forgotten. Remember, in Buddhism there is no God, so there is nobody you can try to cheat. Yes? You cannot expect that he will forget the book in which he wrote all the mistakes that you have done in the past. Whatever we have done is engraved in the marble of our mind. Right? It is according to the law of cause and effect. Whatever we have accumulated in the past does give a result. So, already in this life, if we look back, we might not have created the destruction of cities and so on, but we have accumulated already a certain amount of negativity. On the top of that, add all the negativities which were accumulated in the lives that we don't remember. It's not because we don't remember what we have done in the past lives that the karma forgot about it. The karma is a very cold mechanism. Create cause, time to mature, results. Positive karma, good results, negative karma, negative results. The goal of confession and expressing remorse is not that much to generate fear within ourselves, more than generate the proper decision, the proper will to avoid committing again the same mistakes, and to eventually engage ourselves into practices which will enable us to purify the negative karma accumulated in the past and to accumulate more merits to balance or counterbalance in a way the negativity already accumulated. So the further we recognize the mistake done and generate the wish to do not commit them again, the further this mechanism of confession is taking place. If we just read the text of confession and just repeat the words, at the end nothing is really confessed, first off, and it is not, we have not engaged into the process of changing our past negative habits. Because we need to be fully aware of the consequences of the negativity we have accumulated in the past. Fully aware, we generate this strong will and motivation to change our habits, to change our mind, so to do not repeat them in the future. So confession is not a light thing, a paragraph in our practices, but actually a part of our progress towards changing our mind, expanding our consciousness. Okay, so these are the verses 28, 29, 30 and 31 of the second chapter of the Bodhisattva Charavatar. It says like this: whatever sin, it says, but let's say mistake, I prefer. Whatever mistake I, a brute, have committed or caused others to commit in this life and others throughout the beginningless cycle of existence, and anything in which I have improperly rejoiced, thereby harming myself, that transgression I confess, overcome by remorse. Whatever offense I have committed, out of disrespect with my body, speech and mind, against the three jewels, against mothers and fathers, to be taken at large, all sentient beings, and against spiritual mentors and others, and whatever terrible vices I, a sinner, defiled by many faults, have done, O guides, I confess them all. So this synthesizes a little bit the meaning of this chapter. On the top of what we become aware of, all the mistakes we might have committed, we need to add one point, which is, I hope to have the time to purify all these negativities. Why? Because we don't know when we will part, when the time will come that we are leaving this body behind us. And between the moment we are aware of the mistake we have done and the time we will leave this life, will we have enough time to purify the negativities accumulated? If not, where will we be in the next life? Since every life is conditioned by the karma, including the negativities we have accumulated. So this, in a way, should really awaken the consciousness about the negative deeds we have accumulated in the past and the urgent need to purify them. If when you read this chapter or when you hear about it, it generates any kind of depressed state of mind, you missed a point. You are still too influenced by the Judeo-Christian background of our society. The point of this chapter is not to depress you. The point of this chapter is to motivate, to feel this urge to engage into the practice so that we can purify as much negativity as possible, as soon as possible, because doing so increase our capacity to progress spiritually. And further we progress, more beings we will be able to help. So confession is not flagellating ourselves and crying upon the mistake we have done in the past. It's upon recognizing, confronting, and generating the strong wish to change the actual state of mind and purify the past accumulated negativity.